It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with They Tarnished Cricket Forever. Sir Geoffrey boycott on Australia's controversial win. I'm excited to jump into this. I don't know what happened with Australia, who they even beat, and why they tarnished cricket forever, but I'm guessing I'm about to find out in this interview. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. What we got?
Well, joining me is former England cricket legend Sir Geoffrey boycott, the Conservative peer Lord Marland, who was at Lord's yesterday, and the Australian cricket commentator Melinda Farrell. I'm also joined in the studio by the Associate Editor of the Daily Mirror, Kevin Maguire. Okay, well, this is a great lineup to have. So, Geoffrey, I read your brilliant column in the Telegraph, Daily Telegraph, earlier today, in which you demanded an apology from the Australian team. Tell me why you think that is in order.
Well, I didn't demand anything. I said it would be wise to. Look, if he doesn't know the rights between playing right to the letter of the law and what is good for the spirit of the game, then I don't know, I can't teach him. In 1932-33, when the bodyline was played, it was Australia that first started it by sending a telegram. They didn't like bodyline, which was within the rules, by Jardine and his team beating them, and they sent a telegram to the MCC saying this is not cricket, it's not in the spirit of the game. So those in Australia who were siding with the Australians, so playing to the letter of the law, as it were, should go back to 1932-33, and also their captain told Plum Warner, who was the manager of the MCC team, who went into the dressing room, and Warner got told by the captain of Australia, there are two teams out there and only one is playing cricket. So they didn't like the way it was being played within the rules. And they went further.
Dang, he went almost 100 years back to find the example. He said 1932, 33. Okay, so y'all help me in the comment section. Let me know what the problem is. Why is he saying Australia's win was controversial? What were they doing? Were they playing within the rules? Were they playing outside of them? For me, I feel like, hey, as long as you're playing within the rules, then the win is fair and square. If the other team can do the same thing, because that would be playing in the rules, within the rules, a win is fair and square. Now, you're cheating, if you're going outside of the rules, I don't agree with that. But if you're within the rules, hey, then that means there are other key teams capable of doing it too. Like I said, I don't know what they did or what happened or why they're upset, but I'll let them keep going.
Further than that, after the series was lost by Australia, they got England, pressured them to change the rules of the game, the laws of the game, and they also said, when we're due to come to you in 1938 to play a tour of England, if you're going to bowl bodyline, we're not coming. And MCC said, okay, we won't. And they came on the tour. So they were the first to start this about the standards in the game. And if Pat Cummins and his team don't know what standards are, then I can't teach him. And if you want to win at any cost, that's not good.
And Geoffrey,
you're going to be a
for those
nation known for gamesmanship, underhand things.
Geoffrey, for those who are not...
I'm down for winning within the rules. Win at any cost. I'm down for that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like every athlete should try to win at any cost within the rules.
Massive cricket fans, but are aware of this because it's all over the front pages and the TV news. In your estimation, what happened here that was wrong?
Thank you. Talk to me.
Well, first of all, Johnny Bairstow was dozy, daft as a brush, for wandering around, because usually you have to wait for the umpire at the bowler's end to call over. That means the ball is dead. You cannot be out then. So he should have waited for the umpire to call over at the end of the over. Or, if he wanted to go down the pitch and tap down the pitch, which happens often, or talk to his mate, the captain, he should have looked behind at Carey and said, and sort of, is it okay? Carey would have nodded, and off he went. That's the way you do it. He didn't do any of those, so he was a bit daft and dozy. Carey did what you do instinctively, emotionally, in the middle of a game. But having reflected on it, Cummins.
I watched like cricket highlight videos. So what happened? So it was still in play when he decided to walk over the line. The ball was still in play, and so he's out. That's
him. The team should have said, "Hang on a minute." And if they couldn't do it then, they can do it now. They can think, "Hang on, we win the game." Brilliant cricket played by both teams. Lots of wonderful entertainment for everybody. You've spoilt it at the end. You've tarnished it. You've tarnished your good name. You've tarnished cricket. Put your hand up, say, "Hey, in the heat of the moment, we got it wrong. We'd like to say we fulsomely apologise. It won't happen again," that sort of thing. Shake hands when you meet Ben Stokes. Move on. Everybody will be much happier because there's nothing wrong with anybody, me included. We make mistakes, we're human beings. Put your hand up when you made a mistake and say, "Hey, I got it wrong. I'm sorry." Don't do it again.
Melinda Farrell, you've heard that from the great Sir Geoffrey, one of the all-time great England cricketers and Ashes legends, who actually, in his column, also told a fascinating story, which I'll just quickly paraphrase, where he was playing against the Australians and he handled the ball and the wicketkeeper, Wally Grau, actually said to him, "Don't do that, son," rather than appeal and get him out, which was an extreme...
I would buy stumping if they are men enough. If you want to win at all costs, then cricket is not for you. We all make mistakes in the heat of the moment. Cummins should now say sorry. Nah. That's so that stumping was the reason, because that's his fault. He shouldn't have walked off. He should know the rules. He should know the rules of the game. If you want to win at all costs, then cricket is not for you. If you don't want to win at all costs, I would think it's not for you. You know what? They took advantage. That's what happened.
Extraordinary act of sportsmanship. That's how it used to be. Melinda, you cannot be happy with what you witnessed there. That's not how Australia would feel happy winning an Ashes game, is it?
I think the players feel quite okay about how that's happened. I actually agree with some stuff that you've said, Piers, in there, and with Sir Geoffrey as well. Look, there's so much whataboutery that comes into things like this when it happens, and I think because passions are so inflamed, people often tend to see things through the prism of which team it's happened to, whether it's their team or the opposition, whether they like that team, and also whether they win or lose. I think it's a great shame that this has overshadowed Ben Stokes playing the most magnificent innings I've seen him play since the last magnificent, ridiculous innings.
I will say facts. It depends on what side of the prism you looking at it from, and which, if you're happy or mad about it. I'm a basketball fan, and there's some floppers in basketball. There's some real actors. Now, when it's my favorite team and the opposing team is flopping and getting a cause, I'm as upset as can be. Like, I'm mad. I'm yelling at the TV. But when it's my team doing the flopping and we getting the cause, I have not one complaint. So it does depend on what side you're looking at it from and how you feel about that team. You know what I'm saying? If you're the opposition, of course, you're going to be heated. But if it was your team who did it, you probably wouldn't feel like that. You probably wouldn't feel as bad.
That he played. And maybe that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this incident, because it fired him up to do something incredible. I think the spirit of cricket, when people start talking about that, it can be very nebulous. It can mean different things to different people. You ask people, and it's very hard to define because it doesn't really define anything much in there apart from...
Yeah, but Melinda, I thought about this, and I've heard people say this. I think it's undefinable. If it was definable, it would be written in the laws, right? The spirit of cricket, though, comes when everybody basically feels in their bones that something unfair has happened, I think. And I don't think you can possibly look at Bairstow, who you see scraping his boot inside the crease, which is what batsmen do either with their boot or their bat, to denote it's the end of an over, and then to casually walk down to speak to his captain. Every Australian player knew what he was doing. They all knew he wasn't trying to get an advantage. So to run him out in the way that they did to stump him, as they tried to describe it. I don't think it's a stumping, but whatever you want to call it. But for Pat Cummins, who's Mr. Nice Guy, after we had the whole incident, of course, around Sandpapergate, where all hell broke loose in Australia, and many Australians were as outraged as we were by Sandpapergate, I'm just surprised that Pat Cummins...
That ball almost... It took him out.
He seems a pretty decent guy. Didn't do the right thing and actually make the world feel good about Australia and sportsmanship.
Well, I think that's up to Pat Cummins as far as where he thinks that sort of dismissal falls. I do know that a lot of people who have been contacting me say that you see this a lot it's instinctive from the keeper. So I don't think anyone has an issue with it actually being out. And as Sir Geoffrey said, it was a mistake by Bairstow. So he's made a mistake. Kerry hasn't done the wrong thing. And it's something that a lot of keepers do instinctively. They had noticed he was wandering out of his crease. And Bairstow had done something similar a couple of days.
No, the person I blame is the captain. Because I've seen MS Dhoni, the former Indian captain.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta... you can't be mad at Australia for making that play, bro. Like... You can't be mad at Australia for making that play. Like, it was within the rules. Of course you're going to make that play. Of course. Why wouldn't they? To win the game? You're mad at the guy for walking off. And if it wasn't legal, then you're mad at the umpire or the ref, or know what I'm saying, for not making the right call. But y'all mad at you can't be mad at the Australian players for doing what it takes to win. Now, if I was an England fan, of course I'd be mad. Of course I'd be heated. Y'all, it was my team that y'all beat because of that. But if I'm an Australian fan, hey, that's the way the game goes. Johnny Barstow shouldn't have walked over. Know what I'm saying? You can't be mad at us for taking advantage of that. So this is funny though. I enjoy this.
In a similar situation, actually reverse the decision, withdraw the appeal. This has been done before, and those captains, by the way, when they do that kind of thing, they get revered forever in cricket folklore for being sportsmen. And that's why, again, I'm surprised. I want to bring in Lord Marland. Lord Marland, I saw you on day one of the Lord's Test. We were in neighbouring boxes enjoying the match. And then you were there yesterday, I think, which is a very different atmosphere. What did you make of what happened there? And also, what did you make of what happened?
I was there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was there for 3 days, not yesterday, but...
Right, okay, so you were there the first 3 days. So, but I presume you watched what was going on yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
What did you make of what happened on the pitch? And also, what did you make of what happened in the Lord's Pavilion? The scenes of which, I got to say, I found the spectacle of MCC members chanting cheat, cheat, cheat was pretty disgusting, actually. And I'm glad action has been taken against them. But it showed the measure of the anger in the ground. What did you make of what happened and the fallout?
Well, I totally agree with you, which often I do, Piers. It was very unsporting. I think you're completely right that the captain should have, on field, made the decision, look, you know, well done, Carey, but we're not going to call you out, go back to your crease, which would have been the sportsmanlike thing to do. Of course, in defence of Cummins, it's a very instant decision you've got to make. You don't have the opportunity of time. You have to make a decision at the moment. But I think the thing is defined by Ben Stokes, in a way, in what he said afterwards, which, and I think Ben Stokes is one of the great sporting heroes, that he said he wouldn't have done it himself, and that for me is good enough. Of course, the rivalry, you know, it is just another twist, isn't it, in the Australia-England or the Ashes series. It's not an attractive one. They'll get booed every time they walk out on the ground. If that's what they want, that's fine. I totally agree with you about the behaviour in the long room. It's very unseemly. But, you know, cricket has moved on from this very polite life that you have at the MCC to a contrast of Edgbaston, where I was also, where there's this sort of rowdy crowd, really exciting atmosphere. And so, you know, it's where's that balance? And of course, the long room, for that point of view, is sacrosanct, but it could be argued if you were out in the crowd, you'd have done that.
Kevin Maguire, in particular listening to all this, I mean, are we, as many Australians claim, you know, Melinda referenced the whataboutery, there are episodes in England's cricketing past which wouldn't shine up very well if you put the spirit of cricket test to it. I was at a game at the Oval in 2008 when one of the New Zealand players ran into our bowler, a complete accident. He fell over and was run out, and we didn't withdraw the appeal. I thought that was completely wrong. So I think I've been consistent. I don't like any of this stuff. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think of Ollie Pope and New Zealand in the slips. There's an LBW appeal. The Kiwi batsman wanders out, takes the stumps off, and Bairstow's all high fives and great fun. I think we're in danger in England. I wanted England to
The
win.
difference there is, though, nobody thought the play was dead.
No.
Play was still active.
Well, I think the batsman did.
I don't think
he thought there was going to be an appeal. He was waiting for the umpire and the.
But play would be deemed still active.
But I think we're in danger of sounding bad losers and whining, whinging poms. Look, it was in the rule.
Talk to me.
This is the Ashes, fiercest sporting contest. Are you an Aussie skipper going to give that away?
No.
Ben Stokes
Actually, I would say if your country has been through Sandpapergate, where the captain and vice captain both had to resign their jobs in tears on television, this was a brilliant opportunity for Pat Cummins, who by all accounts is a good guy, a great opportunity for him to reset the profile of the Australian cricket team on the global stage by doing something that he may not have instinctively wanted to, but felt actually was the right thing.
But it's not Sandpapergate. Sandpapergate was clear.
Well, that was cheating.
Clear cheating. This is not cheating. It was within the rules. The umpires.
Exactly.
What happened to the?
It's within the rules. Why are we complaining about something that's within the rules? You should be mad at. I'm sorry, Johnny Barstow. I guess he thought the play was dead, and he just made a slip up. He made a mistake, but don't blame Australia for capitalizing on that mistake. It may not be in the spirit of cricket, I guess, but it was fair and square. It was within the rules. If it wasn't, the umpires would have said something or would have did something. And that's just, it happens in sports all the time. Like, and you just gotta take your L and come back and learn from that mistake that you made and not make that mistake again.
The umpire's decision is final. The umpires gave him out. Now, I agree with Lord Marland, though. The behaviour of the Hooray Henrys, the posh hooligans in the pavilion. Look, they've got privileged access to the players.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to, smother them with kisses.
No. I didn't like that at all. I thought that was...
behave like that at all.
And also chanting cheat, cheat, cheat when they haven't actually cheated. I thought that was completely wrong. So, Jeffrey, let me come back to you for the final word. I always like to do that. The next Test match starts in a few days at Headingley, your neck of the woods, your great ground where you broke so many records. This, I would imagine, is going to fire up the England team like nothing else could possibly do. It will also fire up that Yorkshire crowd like nothing else could possibly do. It's going to be like the Colosseum,
ready for them, let me tell you. They'll be ready for them, no doubt at all. What do you have to remember? I don't like Kevin's point, because if everybody played to the rules, absolute letter of the rules, what would happen now is England and its players will be looking to get their own back. So then we'll be tit for tat all the time, looking for gamesmanship, underhand things, and the cricket, as we know it, would disintegrate. Because players will be looking to score a point, get their own back. Is that what we want at cricket?
No.
We want cricketers and teams.
I want you to play within the rules and do what it takes to win. Cricket, I guess I'm not as big a cricket fan as like basketball, which is like my favorite sport. So I don't know as much about the spirit of cricket and all of that. As a sports fan, I want my team to, if you're playing within the rules, then do whatever it takes to win the game. Win the game. That's what I want you to do. I want you to win. I don't care how you win. Just win.
Just looking to get their own back, gamesmanship, underhand things, dirty things. You know, I don't want that at cricket. The cricket played by these two teams, they're fairly equal. We've been daft enough to do stupid things. at the moments when we were winning the match, and we should have been 2-0 up, not 2-0 down, we're equal to them. We could easily beat them, but we're doing daft things. But that's not the point. It's not about the winning and losing here. It's about the standards of the game. And when you're talking about the members of MCC, they're not all hooray Henrys with lots of money, lots of private schools. It was an emotional moment. I agree it was unsavoury, and they deserve a censure, but I don't think they deserve to lose their membership at all. It was an emotional moment. It certainly wasn't as bad as what the Australian captain didn't do, and I agree with you, Piers. He had a moment there, an opportunity to square things with the world, because what they did in Cape Town was pure and simply cheating, and that's why they got chanted in the long room. Not just for that incident, it's for what they did in Cape Town. That wasn't against the spirit of the game. That's pure and simple cheating.
So, Jeffrey, as always, magnificent to watch you batting. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. And Melinda, thank you.
Bet me £100 England are going to win the Ashes.
I think
I'll stick to cricket.
I think we are going to win the Ashes 3-2. I think this will fire us to victory. Melinda,
3 in a row,
especially because we couldn't get any current or ex-Australian player or any other Australian media figure to come on, and you bravely came over the parapet to defend your country.
Look, everyone's talking about cricket and the Ashes.
Exactly.
So at a time when everyone says cricket's dying, let's just enjoy the fact
certainly
that
isn't dying now. Great to see you, Lord Marlon. Great to see you, Kevin. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, England. I'm on Australia's side on this one. Like I said, I'm not as invested as I'm not the biggest cricket fan in the world, but as a sports fan, I'm on Australia, who doesn't have a dog in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because if I did have a dog in the fight, I'd be biased about it. But as unbiased, looking at it from the outside in, I gotta side with Australia, bro. Like, I don't know. Win. The goal is to win. If I lose being a good sport, I'm a loser. Know what I'm saying? Win. I'm not saying cheat to win. I'm saying if it's within the rules, do it. Win. But maybe not do anything though. Maybe I am overstating, because you know what I'm saying. Maybe there's some things that just shouldn't be done. But that's when I'm thinking of like injuries or certain things, doing things on purpose that may be within the rules, but that could injure a player. I'm thinking players' health and safety. But in that scenario right there, in that case right there, I'm not mad at I wouldn't be mad at Australia for doing that. But if I was an England fan, yeah, I'd be super upset. So it just depends on which side of the glass you're looking at it from. That's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. It's your boy D Neal. Out.